Good evening, everybody. This is not the voice everybody's used to hearing when having the intro to NXT happen, but unfortunately, they're not here tonight to have fun with us and discuss all things NXT. But I'm still here, so you have tonight the sensational Sabrina Estella as my usual co-host would say, and if the person with me could take down the picture, please. We have
Yes, ma'am.
we have the one, the only, the man with his nose in the business, with all the news and everything. We have Mad Dog Kelly, and unless he says or does anything that annoys me, I give him another middle name.
Well,
How are you doing
it's
tonight?
good to be back. Honestly, that's all I have to say. No, this is gonna be a lot of fun. Me and you every Tuesday now. Going forward, I'm looking forward to this. I really am. This is gonna be a lot of fun. NXT is so far my favorite promotion because I told you before the show, Triple A is my favorite right now, but NXT is a close second for me. So yeah.
Well, I would say as far as the WWE side of things, this one would be more of your favorite.
Actually, not to interrupt, but WWE owns AAA, which means AAA is WWE branded, which means it's part of WWE. Now,
I'm just pretending in my head they're not fully WWE owning because they still have better creative control versus what's going on with some of these things in WWE.
hey, you can thank the Undertaker for all that intrigue down there at AAA. From what I
Excuse
heard,
me.
it's him, Conan, and Rey Mysterio are the big three down there. From what I've
Yes.
heard.
But we will be discussing all things NXT. We've
We
had
are.
many a fun weekend. I will say it, I was at a wrestling convention for a day, which was one of the most fun moments of my life, and I definitely look forward to going back. I got quite a few things, so when you go to conventions, be careful with how much you spend because you might not leave with your whole paycheck. But I bought this shirt, so I finally have some Stephanie merchandise.
Oh wow, that's so cool.
I found the
I
shirt
like
for
that
someone else,
shirt.
but it's a gift, so I'm not gonna show it to see what it is. I got a Divas magazine from
Wow.
2001. I got a autograph and a picture with
Great.
someone who was recently released from
Oh
the product,
yeah. That's right. Dakota
which
Kai.
I shared in our group chat. And when Mr. Executive Consultant said, I cannot approve of this picture, I'm like, it is my money.
I liked
I
it.
can take
I
pictures
liked
with whoever I please.
I
And if I'm a fan of Dakota Kai, who is now Charlie in the Indies, before that she was Evie, then so be it. I got more
and
Funkos for my
she's doing
collection.
a lot in the indies now, right? Dakota Kai, right? She's
Yes,
on the indies now, right?
absolutely. I watched the match she put on with Chris Statlander in the company about a month or so ago. She
Oh
killed it.
wow.
And someone else that's killing in the Indies, speaking of which.
Shotzi Blackheart, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's in
And
GCW
of
a lot,
course,
honestly.
and of course, no collection of WWE pops would be complete without Team Reba.
Me and Vince were talking about a couple weeks ago about the Fanatics Fest and how much money they are, and it's just absolutely insane number for Rhea Ripley. I think he said it was like 250 or something like that.
Oh,
So
absolutely. That's why I'm happy I found that for like $17. And then I found some merch
yeah,
from
yeah.
an indie guy that why not support. I do love my indie wrestling. And then went to a wrestling show the day after, so I couldn't stay for both days. But they were giving out free DVDs to everybody who sat front row. So I got
Wow, it's a lot of
two
stuff.
Evolve DVDs, two Shine Wrestling DVDs, and some Japanese
Yeah,
wrestling.
there you go. Okay, yeah,
Yeah, so
cool,
luckily
very
these were
cool.
free. Otherwise, I would not have grabbed six of them. So,
No, yeah, of course, but
but
yeah, it's
enough
always
about
fun to
that.
go
Which,
to the shows. Yeah, yeah, it's
yes.
always fun to
So if
go to
any of
shows.
y'all are ever in the Florida area around that time, go ahead to wherever they have it, which sometimes they have it in St. Augustine. Check out River City WrestleCon. Go for a couple days. Go and meet some wrestlers. Go watch some live action wrestling from some talented indie talents.
I heard about that.
Next
Yeah.
year, they're gonna do some. They're gonna have their own King of the Ring, Queen of the Ring of Florida tournament.
Oh wow.
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
And
Wow.
I did get to meet a couple people because of my friends who I was with, so I didn't have to really pay for that, which was fun. I got to meet Jimmy Hart and Melina.
That is so cool.
But enough
Um.
about me bragging about everything I did. Why don't you tell us how much fun you had this weekend, Mr. Matthew?
Yeah. Yeah. So on Friday, I ended up going to the Kid Rock concert. I'm actually wearing the shirt. Actually, it's Freedom 250 tour, and it was a great. John Party was there. He played a bunch of his country hits, and then Kid Rock just brought all the hits, and it was a great show, beginning to end, and had a lot of fun that night, honestly. And I think I've seen him now. Hi, Katie. I think I've seen him now. That was my seventh time seeing Kid Rock. So, and he's if fun facts with Mad Dog. We were gonna, we're bringing that over here now as well. Kid Rock is a WWE Hall of Famer. I know a lot of people don't like that. Some people do, but he is a WWE Hall of Famer. And yes, he did sing American Badass, which is the Undertaker's theme song, and that's kind of where I got into Kid Rock, was from Undertaker, who I actually met last year. I met Undertaker last year at SummerSlam, so it's a really cool connection between the two. But no, yeah, it was
Listen,
a
some
lot of
of
fun,
y'all.
and I'm glad
Go ahead, friend.
I went. But yeah. Um NXT was great tonight. Moving on about my, Kid Rock concert to
I'm just
NXT
gonna say
tonight.
one
Yeah, it was
thing
great.
before we fully talk about NXT. Y'all might not like that Kid Rock is a WWE Hall of Famer. Who was a WWE Hall of Famer before that
Okay.
that is not running our country to the ground?
Okay.
I rest my
I
case.
cut out.
Anyways, let's talk about some
You cut out there for a
NXT.
second, so but that's okay. Um,
I was just saying, remember, Kid Rock might be a Hall of Famer, and y'all might not like that. Who else is one and is running our country to the ground?
wow. Wow.
But enough about that.
There's
Let's
a lot of
discuss
them in there,
NXT.
good, bad, ugly, but
Yes,
they're all there.
we will one day find a way
So
to talk about every single horrible person that is in the WWE Hall of Fame. I'll find a list and we will discuss it.
WWE has controversy. But not what we're here to talk about tonight. We are here to talk
We're
about
here to talk about NXT, the good, the
see,
bad, and the should not have seen that on TV kind of thing.
I
And
gotta
we
ask
started
you, what
off.
are they doing, man? They're just I don't know. They're just some of it was good, some of it was bad, some of it was really ugly.
Some of it we didn't want to see.
Yes, I did not want to see that patching contest. I told you that before the show. Absolutely ridiculous. I love Shiloh Hill though. I'm not gonna lie. Big stand on him or fan of him or whatever called. And that's because of the
I
Undertaker
mean,
again. By the way, um,
wrestling fans call it. We call ourselves marks. So you're a mark for Shiloh Hill, is what you're saying.
of
When
course,
people
of
say
course.
like
I,
I stand this
I
person,
actually,
I feel like
I'm
that's more
just
like
a
musically.
WWE mark in general. Okay, I do watch the other company, and the other company has some good matches from time to time, and some good people in the other company I do like, but yeah, I'm just I watch it all. You
Just
know
say
that.
AEW. I don't care. I
Well,
don't
so some
care.
people on our channel do, so that's why.
They
But
need to
yeah,
stop
you say
caring.
want
It's
me to
not that
say AEW, I
big a
will.
deal.
So,
I
um,
mean, it's not like we're gonna talk about it the entire time, but
well, I do have to
we.
ask you before we get into this. How do you feel that Great American Bash? By the way, they have implications for Great American Bash. Will be on the CW for free the same night as AEW Forbidden Door, door.
Well, let's see. What are people gonna watch? A pay per view that's free on TV for the first time since WWE got that deal with ESPN, or a pay per view for AEW that's gonna cost about $50, depending on which company you're using to watch.
Sometimes 40 if you use HBO Max, by the way. Fun facts with Vando.
No. I'm sorry, I am not
Uh,
paying $40 to $50 for one night. I will pay 30 some dollars a month for a channel that I don't use other than wrestling if I'm going to be able to watch it all year round. I feel like that's a better deal.
Hi, good Chris. Happy
We miss
belated
you. We hope you had a fun
birthday.
birthday.
Okay,
But
sound
now
me
let's
out.
get into
Uh,
the. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. I'm trying to get over
no,
this
you're
dang
good. You're
cough that I
good.
have. Listen, when you work in a daycare with kids, you gonna get sick and it's gonna happen real fast. Because them
Yeah.
kids, especially the babies, like to use you like a tissue.
No, yeah, I understand that.
But we started off with some tag team action. Coming back from the main roster for a night, we had Fraxium versus Noam Dar and Romeo Moreno. And we had Axiom and Noam start things out. And they might have a little history with each other in NXT UK, given Axiom's old identity as the A Kid. But we also found out that Axiom and Romeo actually knew each other in Spain as well.
Mm.
And Nathan tags in, and Axiom gets frustrated and leaves. And Moreno doesn't want Nathan Frazier. He wants Axiom to kind of like play into their history. And Nathan didn't care. He just rolled his eyes and went after him, and Romeo caught him real good, real fast. But it was honestly a solid match all around. There was good chemistry between everybody, especially the history with most of them. And and in the end, a tag team that was made in NXT that people thought was going to split up went up to the main roster together and got the 1-2-3 victory, which I enjoyed. I didn't mind it. I liked it. I didn't hate it. How do you feel about
I liked it. I thought the match was great. Braxium is, a very, very underrated tag team, in my opinion. If you want my opinion, I think they're very underrated in WWE, and they're also my tag team champions in my GMO from Facts of Mad Dog. So, but seriously though, I thought the match was good, and honestly, I forgot, and this is the thing, because I haven't really been watching NXT much. I've been watching a lot of the hockey. I've been watching a lot of the, NBA playoffs. I've watched a lot of the sports because all these sports are on. I forgot that Noah Dar was actually in NXT again. I forgot he came back from injury and actually had this match tonight. But yeah, everyone won. They gelled well, and it was a good match. I liked it.
well, happy to hear that you liked it. So after that happens, they all celebrate and they show good sportsmanship, which props to them all because usually some people would expect like somebody to start blaming one or the other or a fight ensues or somebody accidentally gets pushed into someone else and they start fighting. But no, it's nice when it ends with handshaking, celebratory hugs, and no one is whining and moaning and groaning and bitching and complaining. After that, we get Kendall and Ren chatting backstage. Ren says without her as a distraction, Kendall can focus on winning the world title and she needs to focus on her speed title anyways. She's gonna go chat with Robert Stone to see what she can do until she gets cleared. Lola comes in, wishes Kendall good
Mhm.
luck, says she didn't mean to kick her. Kendall says, once is a coincidence. Twice, I'm not buying it. And I'm gonna go ahead and handle you after I handle Kelani. Which, you know the saying, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. So I don't blame her for being a little skeptical with the apology, but when Latina women want to lie and play games, we will play games better than that. So I'm just gonna say that.
Hi, Charmaine. Congratulations on your daughter. Wow, sixth grade. That's awesome. Wow. I know it even. Happy birthday, Chris, again.
They tease it on and
Roxy
off.
for
I
a
feel like it's
while.
like a
Anyway,
recurring thing. It's gonna be a recurring thing every
okay.
year. They're gonna tease
There we go.
friction, they'll be fine. They're gonna tease
There we
friction.
go.
They'll be fine. They'll tease friction. Maybe they'll finally split up. We don't know.
Here's the thing, right? I do want to comment on this. Championships change people, right? You know that. I know that. That is the biggest thing. Championship opportunities change Soruka and ZARIA. Now we know the outcome later. We'll get to the outcome. What happened with ZARIA later in the night. Trust me, ladies and gentlemen, we will get there. But I will have to say, that championships and going for championships change people and it burns a lot of bridges. So, and what I have to say about this, it definitely, in my opinion, their friendship is going to be torn right apart to go for the gold. And honestly, may the best women win.
Well, let's see. Maybe they'll
I
prove
mean, look,
people
I
wrong,
want Lola to
and they'll
have
be stronger
a
than ever.
lengthy title reign. That's as much as the next guy. Trust me, Lola in AAA, Lola in NXT. But I do think eventually she deserves to go to the main roster. She's definitely main roster material for sure.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
hopefully in the next year or so. But for now, I'm hoping Lola keeps the belt for a while. Hoping.
Well, we shall see. So, anyways, we get Sarah Schreiber, or however you say her last name. I'm not 100% sure, so I apologize for butchering it if I did. Gives us a rundown on the Mr. NXT page and how it works, and explaining like the voting and such and everything that
Did
you
you
got to
vote?
do.
Did you vote? I voted. I voted. I
Yes,
voted.
yes.
I
And it
voted.
includes our judges: WWE Evolved Champion Aaron Rook, Kit Wilson, and fast rising
Oh.
comedian Matt Matthews.
I honestly don't know who he was. I'll be honest
Neither
with
did I.
you. So I
They might have
guess
said
he's worked
fastest
for
rising
WWE.
comedian, but neither of us heard of you, so how good
I
are you
mean, no,
really?
no, no, no.
So
And man, they're
we
passing
get
that around the Evolve Championship a lot, aren't they? I didn't even know what's his name, Aaron,
not
whatever his name
really.
became Evolve
Not
Championship.
really.
Wow,
Not really.
I don't watch Evolve, so I don't know. But last
Listen,
time I checked,
the
that
women's
dude was not
Evolve
champion. Now he
Championship
is.
belt, the women's Evolve Championship belt has only had 3 champions, and the men's Evolve Championship has only had 2. Jackson Drake
Okay,
and Aaron Rourke when he won it from
okay,
him. That is it.
uh-huh. Okay. Now, like I said, I don't watch Evolve. I
I
watch
mean,
AEW on Wednesdays,
I
so
don't watch it all the time, but I keep up with it on social media. So,
okay.
so when they posted that up about Aaron winning, of him being the first openly gay person in WWE to
Hmm.
win a title, that's when
That
I
I
saw
know.
it.
I
I'm like,
saw that on social media. Yeah,
finally,
yeah, that was a big
somebody
deal.
won
Yeah,
it for Jackson
that was a
Drake
big
because I
deal.
was
Yeah.
sick and tired of seeing him being Evolved champion. It's like, can y'all give it to somebody else, please?
But that was a big deal. Yeah, yeah, that was a big deal.
Oh,
Because
absolutely.
I saw that on social media. I knew he won. I just didn't know how long he had the title for. But no, yeah, it was
Over
cool that he
100
was there
days.
tonight for this. I thought that the guest stars they brought in for this patch were neat, but I don't know. This seems silly to me. I don't know what.
That's the point.
I don't
Sometimes you gotta have a little silliness in such a serious program that is
know.
professional wrestling. Half the
And
time, professional wrestling is about having fun and being
excuse
goofs.
me, but come on, you don't think the Danhausen stuff isn't silly and the best thing ever? I told you before the show. It's freaking
I'm talking about for
Danhausen.
NXT. I'm talking about for NXT.
I know. That's right. That's right. Bring Danhausen to NXT. You're right. You're right, wrestling doll. Absolutely. Thank you.
I didn't say that. You did. You did. Do not put words in my mouth, okay? If I wanted to deal with
I
Dax, I
tried.
would
I
work with the
tried.
executive contradiction. And I will call him
I
that as I
tried
please.
there.
You did and you
I
failed epically.
tried. Hey, man, it's
Speaking of those that are trying,
let's get Danhausen everywhere. Okay, if he can show up at
it
the
will
next
it'll
team,
happen
he
at
can
some
show
point.
up in NXT.
It's gonna happen at some point. But
I
anyways,
bet you it will. Have mini
we have
housings
round
running around
one.
the NXT Performance Center. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, he's
Anyway,
gonna be cursing everybody. Anyways, round
yeah.
one of the Mr. NXT pageant is attire with Shiloh Hill and Tristan Angels. And Tristan comes out in a two-tone suit, white jacket, black pants, and involves a Union Jack Speedo. So he kept it very classic, very formal, very typical pageant when they have the evening portion. And then you have Shiloh Hill, and he came out with something kind of similar-ish, a little more in the business casual but Shiloh style. And he had a camo he had camo board shorts and a snorkel for his swimsuit wear. Matt Matthews said he liked Tristan from the neck down, but Shiloh is a real man. Kit gave Shiloh a T for tacky, and as far as Angels goes, he didn't like it. He loves it. Aaron said he liked Shiloh's choices, but unfortunately had to give it to Tristan. So that was round one, and it went to Tristan Angels. And we have two more rounds, and there's a fan vote, so that's going to happen later on the night. And then we get Mason Rook versus Naraku for the in an NXT Men's Championship number one contender match. Two talents from two different sides of the globe,
I'm a
two that are
little upset
notoriously
about this
known,
match. Everything, honestly.
two talents that are notoriously known in their respective places where they wrestle the most, that were going at it for the biggest piece of gold that you can earn in NXT as a male. No offense to the North American title, but the main championship is always the biggest. And I enjoyed this match. It was a very entertaining match to see two different styles of wrestling with English wrestling and Japanese wrestling because I have seen Japanese wrestling before and I'm like, wow, we're wusses compared to them because they do a lot more. But yeah, I enjoyed this match and unfortunately, Cam Hendricks had to stick his nose in business that did not involve him because he's all bitter and upset that he lost to Tony D for the belt and distracts Mason and Naraku takes advantage with his finisher entering the abyss to become the number one contender. Hendricks laughs at Mason and Mason is steaming like he is going to jump out that ring and whoop that man's ass. He would probably throw him through the announce table if he could.
Yeah.
He would have thrown him through that table. He would have thrown him through that freaking barrel that they always break through at some point during
Yes.
the match, if he could. And what did you think?
So this whole thing, right? First of all, you got to admit, everybody. I've been saying this for weeks and weeks and weeks in the group chats we have, to just on social media we have. Mason Rook is a star. He is a superstar. He is the best thing since Danhausen. Okay, I said it again. I'm gonna keep saying it. And yes, good Chris, I know about the Vegas thing, about the Vegas and the curse and everything. And but look what happened to my Knicks last night. You know what I mean? They cursed them and they still lost. So honestly, I don't know if I believe Danhausen as much anymore, but still hilarious. Anyway,
Well, there's
about
always
this
flukes
match,
and curses.
um, Mason Rook needs to go to the main roster. That's what this proves. Okay, Mason Rook is the complete package. Okay, now as for Naraku or Naroku, whatever his name is,
No
yeah, I
Rocky.
kind of knew he was yeah, I knew he was going to win this match. All the after stuff, was born and all that other stuff. Yeah, okay, all right, it's fine, but everybody's getting involved. But you know what? At the end of the day, I don't see anybody dethroning Tony D'Angelo for a while. I just don't. Lola Vice and Tony are going to get the runs they deserve, and they deserve these runs. So that's how I feel on all of that. Yeah, but this was a great match, and I think is Naraku, right? Is that you say it?
Naraku, yes.
Um, yes. Is fantastic. Um, but Mason, he made Mason look fantastic tonight. He made Mason look like a star, superstar. Okay, the next big thing. He will be champion one day. I swear to God, just like Javon Evans, who advanced yesterday, by the way, in the King in the Ring tournament thing. Yes, I mentioned that the young OG advanced, and
And I bet
yeah.
I know exactly who in our lovely family of unpopular view was very unhappy and was probably seething in his seats when having to watch that moment. And he probably was like,
uh,
Braun Breaker, you dumbass. Why did you do that to me?
oh, I loved it. Oh, I loved it. I loved every second, and I love this. I think Mason was great showing by him, and yeah, I'm excited for Tony and Naraku's match at Great American Bash.
And Jeffrey, I'm pronouncing it the way that I
I
heard
see
it
that. Yeah,
on Inuyasha. I'm not going to pronounce it like
I
I'm a
tried
native
my
speaker
best,
of
Jeffrey.
Japan.
Okay, cut me some slack. It's hard to
I'm just
pronounce
saying
these
how I
new
heard it on
Japan
the show.
names. Tetsuya
And I watched it in dub
Terahashi
because I didn't.
and Takeshi. I don't have.
I
I'm
thought it was
bad with.
Takashita.
Is it? I don't even know.
I
Oh
mean, I've
God.
heard it
Oh, okay.
said
Wow.
one of the ways. I don't remember which one. I thought it was
I know
Takashita.
it's one's Tohashi
But if
or
it's Takeshita,
Tahashi.
then so be it.
I always thought it was
But anyways,
Takeshi. That's how Shivani said it, or Excalibur. But yeah, okay. Maybe I'm wrong.
well, we'll see. Anyways, we have
Yeah.
Tavion and Miles chatting backstage. Tavion says he wants wants their next bout added to go better, but Miles says he needs to figure out who who their next challenger is. Tavion complains that he's always worried about that title and maybe he should challenge for it. Vanity Project comes in, or as I
Dun
like to
dun
call them,
dun.
the Team Tinder frat pack. Uh, Jackson Drake takes issue with Miles handing title shots to his friends like they're Tic Tacs, and Tavion asks, "Who are you talking to, boy?" And Micah, I'm not sure exactly how they're saying her name, says that Jackson is talking to Tavion, and a number one contenders match between them gets made. So how did you feel?
Right. How exciting! First of all, this whole thing. Love young Randy. You know I'm gonna say it as the new host. They're coming back. You know I'm gonna call him Young Randy and love young Randy Orton. And
And we love it. We love his
yeah,
girlfriend.
I see your shirt. Yeah. You know he's
I'm just
dating Stephanie
emphasizing for the
McMahon.
fans
There's
that
no
we love his
secret.
girlfriend. And we
There's
love his
no
girlfriend.
secret about that wrestling doll. He's dating the lady on your shirt, obviously.
Well, we have to show love for the
You know,
girlfriend too. So,
he was actually
anyways,
backstage. The one when she won the belt last year, and he's been a lot of backstage at Raw recently, which is interesting because she hasn't been back, in a while. She's been injured. That's what's been going on. But there were some rumors that she might return Raw for Clash of Italy, but never happened. So hoping to see her back soon. But I love young Randy, and whenever young Randy fights, he's fantastic in the ring. And yeah, like I said, Miles Bourne just reminds me of that young Randy Orton style of just wrestling, and yeah, this whole thing with him and Vandy Project and Tavion, yeah, sign me up for this. This is gonna be fun. Oh, and it's also nice to see the girl from LFG getting a lot more screen time now on NXT now. Yeah. What did you say her name was? Micah or something now? They changed it. It's not Bailey Humphreys anymore. It's Micah or
no, it's
something now.
they either pronounce it Micah or Mika Lockwood.
Yeah. But But no, yeah, I like this a lot. Give me more. Young Randy. That's all I have to say.
So we got a quick little hype reel about Tate Wilder, and it talks about his bull riding background and all the risks that he loves taking, which basically brought him to NXT and the WWE.
I like
And after
Tate
that,
Wilder. Excited to see what he does. I really am. I'm excited to see
and
what
after
what
that,
what
we get
they
Kelani
do with
Jordan
him.
versus Kendal Grey in a number one contenders match for the NXT Women's Championship. And there was an early shot right into a Fujiwara armbar that Kendall counters, and Kelani fights out. Kendall traps her back, and this was a solid match all around. I enjoyed it. I always enjoy watching my women's wrestling, as y'all know. At women's wrestling is why I start watching the bigger companies or companies that I hear have a reputation, whether it's good or bad, or have like been on TV or that are notoriously known that people are like when you talk about, they're like, I want to go over there. But I enjoyed this match. I love watching these girls. They have great chemistry together. They've worked together before. And with the shades of gray, Kendall Gray becomes the new number one contender for Miss Lola Vice.
Did you see the move? I think it was Kendall Gray did towards the end of the match. The whole Maxine Dupree. I gotta say it. I gotta say it. The best. That's what the whole thing reminded me of. Obviously, was Maxine, and just my God, just great. I'm not surprised Kendall won. I think it's the right choice, but I do hope Lola retains. I want Lola to have a lengthy title reign. It's selfish of me, but I also know, she needs to go with the main roster. So it's like, yes, I want her to stay in NXT so we can talk about her every week, but I know for a fact she is main roster material, and will fit in right away with the other ladies.
Well, we shall see when that time comes. But
Jeffrey
I
says in the
too,
chat here, he says they think it's time for Kalani to move up to the main roster. What do you think?
hey, she can move up too. I think she's real ready. She just hasn't had the NXT Women's Championship yet. But if she moves up without having it, so be it. I mean, she was the inaugural Women's North American Champion. Nobody can say anything about that. So after that, we get round two of the Mr. NXT pageant. Special talents. And Shiloh's special talent is solving a Rubik's Cube in 1 minute. And for all of y'all that have ever tried to solve Rubik's Cube that wasn't able to, y'all, we all know how hard it is. I know I was never able to. And he solves it in 15 seconds. So he does another trick, another talent, which involves a big yo-yo with two sticks. And he does some tricks with it, and Tristan Angel, with poor sportsmanship, shoves him out the way. And he says, solving the Rubik's Cube is no big deal. I can do it too. And he messes around with it for a while before Aaron stands up and tells him, you're way past time. Tristan throws the cube to the floor, shatters it, gets a couple of softballs out, juggles them, and Shiloh winds up him by riding back on screen on a unicycle and juggling three of them on his own. And with that, Shiloh won the special talents round, making it 1-1.
Here's how I feel about this. This whole thing's ridiculous. You know it. I know it. And I'm going
It's
to say it
fun.
again. It reminds me of the whole thing with Danhausen. I love him, by the way. Greatest thing. I told you since Sliced Bread came out. Okay. NXT. Now they're doing this comedy stuff in NXT too. If this is the thing. If Danhausen can do it on the main roster, I get that NXT wants to try and steal some of his thunder, but it's not gonna work. Like I said, he's everywhere. Okay, everywhere. But no, yeah, this segment was fun. Like I said, as you know, I'm a stand for Shiloh Hill, as they call it. Um, I've always been a stan. Not that means a simp fan or whatever that's called. I guess. For him, I think he's been fantastic wrestling. I think his character work is great. He was coached by Undertaker, and I think he's been in 2 seasons of LFG now, and I think he won last season, and that's why he got promoted. And ever since he got promoted, he's been all over. And honestly, I think he's just great. I think he's got talent. I think he can win the belt eventually. I really do. I think fantastic. As for Tristan Angels, I really don't care for him as much. Honestly, I think he's boring. But that's just my take on him. But
I
yeah,
don't
go go
either.
go
I
go
just like talking
Shiloh.
about him. Listen, I don't care about him either. I just like talking about him because it gives me an excuse to use my horrible British accent.
Did you see those trunks he was wearing? Absolutely ridiculous.
He was wearing a Union
Absolutely.
Jack trunk. He was representing his hometown. He was representing his home country.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. No,
And I
no, no.
love how we were talking
Representing.
about the ridiculousness
Yeah.
that is the pageant, and you went on to talk about Danhausen some more. Everybody take a
I
shot
mean,
for every time we talk
Danhausen
about the
is,
NXT pageant, and he goes on about Danhausen.
of course. How can you not? How I mean,
Like
how
this.
can I not? The biggest, the biggest fan house and there is on UPRW. Yeah, yes, but no, seriously though. Going back to this, yeah, I liked it. I thought it was funny, and yes, going back to Shiloh, he has a lot of potential in WWE. Really does. He does. Do I think he'll be world champion one day? Maybe. Could happen. Anything can happen. Anybody can be
North
champion.
American champion?
They've proven that. So, could it be NXT champion? I give them maybe another half a year to a year. He'll be NXT champion. I can see it.
I was thinking North American. But anyways, we get
But
Sarah
for now,
informing us that
yes,
round.
yes. But let's keep the belt on young Randy. Okay, we gotta keep that young Randy. Okay, gotta. I want to talk about young Randy, Sabrina. I don't want to
Well,
talk
he'll need
about
to get called up to the main roster at
Shiloh
some point.
Hill.
But anyways,
Yeah.
round 3 is public speaking, so that's what we're gonna get later. We get
Wonder how
excuse me,
that's gonna
Tony D
go.
interview backstage, and he says Naraku had an impressive match and never discredited where he came from or the titles he's won. He just doesn't get his vibe or energy. Great American Bash need to bring every ounce of evil in his body because when he gets
He
him
name
out there,
dropped the name. He did the thing where he name dropped the name. It's funny.
Naraku rolls up and gives Tony D a card. He asks, "What is this?" Naraku just bows deeply. Tony D opens it and looks at it, and we don't get to see what it is. So we get Dion Lennox versus Jasper Troy. Why? I don't fucking know. Who do we cheer for?
What do you
Nobody
mean why
fucking
you don't know?
cares.
Because it's Jasper Troy wrestling,
I
dog.
don't care.
Jasper
He
Troy
bores
needs
the
to
living hell
destroy
out of me.
everybody on the roster. That's why, as
He
King
bores me.
Booker says, Jasper Troy is the guy. And he is.
Jasper Troy is the guy that bores the ever living shit out of me.
No, come on. He's great. With the chain and
He
the whole
bores me.
thing. Come on, no. He's
He
like, oh,
bores
but
me. You know who
Femi
else?
had a child. That's Jasper Troy.
You know who else bores me? Dark State, and that's exactly what we got. We got boring versus boring, in my opinion.
No, Dark State is Timu Shield, okay? It's just Timu Shield,
That's a bad thing.
entertaining.
That's a bad thing.
Shield's
Here's the difference
entertaining.
between
Dark State's not entertaining.
here's the difference between the Shield and Dark State. The Shield was entertaining. Dark State is
Thank you,
not and
Jeffy. I
never
agree
will
with
be.
you. No Jasper Choice slander. I agree.
I can say whatever the hell I want.
I know,
I
but
just haven't been told by HR I
seriously,
cannot. So
um,
until then, I will say whatever I please. But Dion starts with the right hand to him. Jasper, it doesn't do shit. Just like when JD McDonough hit Obafemi with that
yes,
chair
we do.
yesterday, and it didn't do
You said,
anything.
I'm sorry.
And
You said it.
he and Jasper punched Dion right back to him and knocked his ass down onto the floor, which was that was funny. because it's like, you stupid ass. You really think you gonna knock him out with that sorry ass punch with how big he is? You stupid. You might as well ask him to join since you got rid of one of your black men. Anyways,
Your funeral. Oh man.
but I mean, match was fine. Nothing that I wasn't expecting. I mean, you had Osiris and Cutler here and they interfere because that's all they know how to do is win via interference. And with the
But
final cut,
actually,
Dion
fun
wins the
facts
match.
with Mad Dog, the Shield used to interfere in matches too. This is what makes Dark State so interesting. The Shield used to interfere with matches, but when Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose used to interfere with Roman Reigns to make sure Roman always won. Roman did the same thing for Seth, and they also did it for Dean, by the way. These are fun facts with Mad Dog. You're welcome for them,
Listen, every
everybody.
faction could,
Um,
every heel
and
faction could
that's
do the
why I call
same
them
damn
Timu
thing.
Shield. Because they always interfere. So yeah.
You do realize calling anybody Timu anything is not a good thing, right?
Of course, of course. Just like
Really? Because you
Jamie
defend
Hayter is the
Darkseid like
Timu Becky Lynch.
you defend Darkseid like it's the greatest damn thing in the world. It's literally one of the most boring things I've seen on my TV for the better half of 3 years.
Well, look, that's because they're so shield-like. They have that shield quality to them.
Nobody is invested
And
in that.
as
That's
you
the
know, I'm
problem.
the
Everybody.
biggest shield fan in the world. I have
Okay, let me
5
scratch
shield
that. Let
shirts,
me
by the
scratch.
way.
Let me scratch that. You're the only one invested in the Dark State story. Nobody else is because nobody gives a damn.
I mean,
Anyways,
if I
that's
am, I am. But they are my
anyways.
shield. I love shields, so there you go. I love the shield. I have 5 shield t-shirts. I only have one Dark State t-shirt though, for the record. I do have one. Everyone's like, you don't have any merchandise. I do. I do. I do. I probably
Well,
have
I got about
merchandise
two
from
containers
everybody.
full of
So,
merchandise.
well,
Technically, I got 2.5 containers worth of wrestling merchandise. Anyways, after the match is
yes.
over, Shaquan Sugars is on the Titantron, and he says Theon looks smooth out there. And when Shaquan strikes, and it just kept looping and saying the same thing over and over again, as it has technical difficulties.
Dun dun dun.
He's at ringside and with an aluminum baseball bat, and he beats the ever living sugar honey iced tea out of Osiris Griffin. And by the time Dion
Dun
Lennox
dun dun.
realizes what happened, the damage is done. Shaquan already got his ass out there. And we got some Twitter footage of Jade attacking Natty in the dungeon.
Yeah, what's with that? Honestly, I'll agree with you with this. The Jada and Natalia thing seems a bit more interesting than what we got with this whole Jasper and Dark State situation. Honestly,
Thank
be
you.
honest with you there. What I said,
Nice you
Jasper and
finally
Dark
agree
State.
with me
Oh,
about
yeah,
them for once.
yeah. Well, it's true, but yeah, Jada and Natalia. What's going on with that? Is something brewing between the two of them? Because if they fight at Great American Bash, sign me up.
They
I
probably
will
will.
gladly watch NXT over Forbidden Door. Unless they have Darby
You would
Allen
willingly
wrestling.
not pay
Darby Allen's
$40 to
wrestling, then
$50
yeah,
for a
I'm gonna
pay per
have to
view?
watch
I'm so
Forbidden Door.
amazed.
So, but yeah, I think since he just
Anyways,
lost the belt, he probably won't be on Forbidden Door, Darby Allen. So it makes sense. But anyway, no, yeah, and yeah, like I said, this whole Jasper and Dark State thing, I don't know. We'll see where it goes. I guess. Yeah.
anyways, Sarah announces the final category for the Mr. NXT pageant, which is public speaking. And Shiloh Hill comes in wearing a tiger print vest with his flame print top. And Tristan comes out with his hair fluffed up and he has on a black sparkly blazer and a red bow tie. And Tristan makes his case for being NXT on the basis of how handsome he is, how he's represented England, the greatest country in the world, in international pageantry, and yet he remains incredibly humble because he was born but a humble sheep herder, and he can almost relate to the pigs that make up the NXT universe. And he's celebrated his 23rd birthday, tattooed Mr. NXT on the back of his leg. So if anyone is thinking about voting for a hillbilly with a smile, like an unfinished jigsaw puzzle, he suggests they take a long walk off a short cliff.
Hmm.
Shiloh says he's never really done anything like this before, and figured the hardest part would be figuring out where to get a monocle at. He feels that things move so fast here, he's a different person every week, and it's hard to figure out who he is. Having trouble finding himself, but that's what NXT is about, and that's what makes it so beautiful. NXT as a whole, NXT wrestling life as a whole changed so fast you can't figure out, but that's okay as long as you can roll with the punches and adapt. He thinks he's pretty good at that, and that's why he should be Mr. NXT. Matt Matthews says from one trailer park to another, he is very impressed at how Shiloh continues to be himself even with the missing tooth. He's impressed Tristan finally got a blowout and got rid of his ramen noodle hairstyle, and it did nothing for him the same way he doesn't do anything for Matt, so Shiloh got Matt's vote. Kit Wilson applauds Shiloh's vulnerability, but the whole raccoon thing is toxic.
Oh.
So there's something about him. And the way Tristan was jumping around is toxic. But there's something about him. He doesn't know if it's his long blonde hair or English accent, but it's doing something for him. So, yes, boy, Angels has Kit Wilson's vote.
Dun dun dun.
Aaron says he loves the way that Shiloh is authentically himself and embraces the weird, like a lot of us do. Myself included, being a self proclaimed weirdo since 12 years old. And on the other hand, Tristan has so much experience and looks the part, so he's going to leave the voting up to the fans. Sarah polls the crowd. They're behind Shiloh. We get a drum roll for the vote. And Shiloh Hill is Mr. NXT. And he wins the inaugural Mr. NXT. Tristan jumps Shiloh, hits a code breaker, gets a chair, and beats him down before dropping a knee against the back of his neck and puts Shiloh's skull into the chair. He takes the Mr. NXT staff and stands tall with the foot on Shiloh's neck. Robert Stone chats with Naraku, congratulates him being the contender, saying he has no doubt they're going to go to war. He wants to know what was in the box that he gave Tony D, and then went to go to war. Keanu rolls up to complain about Robert Stone letting people like Naraku jump the line, saying he needs to take action. And he tells Keanu, be patient. I'm going to find you an opponent for next week. And if Keanu says, if you don't, I'm going to do it for me. So what
Mm.
did you think of everything?
Right. So first of all, Mr. NXT, I thought the whole thing was ridiculous. But congrats to LFG Season 2 winner, Shiloh, Mr. NXT Hill! Coached by The Undertaker, by the way, who's also a, fun fact to Mad Dog, a WWE Hall of Famer, Undertaker, by the way. Yeah. I had to go there with Undertaker, who I met last year again. A little bit, fanboying out there. My Funko is actually in the wall unit over there. You can't see it, but it is over there in the purple mark. Anyway, not the point. So happy. Of course, Kit Wilson was going to be toxic inside with Tristan. I think Kit always sides with the heels no matter what. But come on, did you really think the NXT Universe Wrestling doll was going to actually vote for Tristan Angel? Come on.
Let
Shiloh
me think
had this
about
in
it.
the bag.
Let me think about it. Did I think that someone who called all of us pigs was going to be the winner of Mr. NXT?
I
Absolutely
don't think
not.
so.
In no universe was that going to happen.
I agree 100%. I'm so happy that my man Shiloh won again. You know, I'm a big fan of this guy, and I've been saying it all show. He is just fantastic, and we're seeing that tonight. even if how ridiculous this whole thing was, and I still think Danhausen is better. Danhausen, by the way, for life. I did think this was fun and it was enjoyable, and I'm glad the right person ended up winning. So yeah. But like I do have to say, Tristan is a sore loser, and I'm very interested in the feud they're about to have because obviously it ain't over.
Of course
Sign
he's a
me up.
sore loser. You saw that head of hair. You have to have
So,
that kind of
I
head of hair
sign
to
me
be a
up for
sore
the
loser.
feud. Sign me up for that feud. Also, Jeffrey said in the chat that they're, Jada and Natalia are fighting next week. I thought they would save that for Great American Bash, but okay, all right, we'll
Maybe
cover it, I
they
guess,
will,
next week.
maybe they won't.
I don't know. He says they're fighting next week, but yeah. As for this whole thing with Roger Stone, you know,
Robert.
yes, thank you. I'm so my mind's just so messed up. Anyway, I was thinking of the other guy from what's his name? TNA, Roger Stovey or whatever his name is. You know, he's the guy from TNA or whatever. Anyway, because I was watching TNA the other night. Anyway, not the point. Robert Stone, this whole thing on Naraku is great, but Carver, man, and Carver, he's the big dog on NXT. He's gonna be the big guy. You know, he'll be champion before you know it. And honestly, I think the man deserves a shot. I really do. I think it's time. Give him the shot. I don't think he'll win, but I think he deserves to be champion. There's a lot of guys and girls in NXT who deserve to be champion right now. And Tony and Lola, I think they both deserve it the most. And that's what makes things so interesting right now. But I think Tony, who's been rumored for years to get called up, by the way, they tried, it failed, blah, blah. And, Lola also been rumored to get called up for years. We'll get the call up sooner than later, I think. Maybe after SummerSlam. But no, I thought it was all fun. I thought it was all good. I like this
Glad to see you
segment.
enjoyed the
Yeah.
pageant. But we have
Wasn't as good as Danhausen once again, but yes, it was
nobody is
fun. I will give it
comparing it to
that.
Danhausen. It was just fun, ridiculous goofiness. And
And
every
that's what
company,
Danhausen is, wrestling dog. He's fun, ridiculous goofiness. Have you seen the
and
Danhausen
where did he do
mobile?
it first before he got signed to WWE?
He was in AEW doing nothing.
And whose
I
fault is
know
that?
this. That was Tony Khan's fault for letting him
And
go.
listen, you know where he had more fun being goofy and all that? On Ethan Page's vlogs when he could still do that.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. But the AEW dropped the ball with him. I know everybody likes, doesn't admit that, but
Because
that's the
Tony Khan
truth.
doesn't know how to book some of his stars sometimes. But anyways,
Okay. Yes, but
speaking of
but
those
no,
with
I
horrible
enjoyed the
booking,
pageant. Yes. You got me there. You got me there. Yes.
so
I
speaking
enjoyed
of horrible booking, we have Izzy Dame and Nico Vance talking backstage as to why she's in the Speed Championship tournament. Sean says he got her the match. She berates him for it. He explains that with Kendall as number one contender for the NXT Women's Championship, it's out of reach for now, and winning that title will keep them on top even though you only wrestle for like 3 minutes. And her first opponent is Thea Hale, who she's beaten before. Nico agrees it's a good idea, which Nico talks, I guess, or just nodded his head. And Izzy compliments him for thinking 2 steps ahead. Listen, Izzy, y'all are not on Death Note. Sean Spears is not like Yagami, okay? You're not Misa, even though you're not over the moon obsessed in love with him. And for anybody who has watched Death Note, y'all saw how the show ended. And for those of you that haven't, let's just say it did not end well for Light Yagami. And I love how Matt's looking at me like he doesn't know what I'm talking about, which he probably doesn't, and that's fine.
right. So I will say
Do you
this.
remember?
Pulling
Do you ever remember seeing people like talk about like, oh, if I had this notebook, I would write so and so's name in there. Basically, it
yes,
was a
yes.
notebook that if you wrote their name in it, they'd have a heart attack within like 30 seconds. If you didn't write away, that they die.
Okay. Okay.
It falls out the sky one day, and a super smart kid who's totally bored with his life finds it and he uses it to try to get rid of all the bad people in the world. The power goes to his head, and he starts going crazy, try to become God, and it ends very
Okay.
badly for him. And the thing with that anime and the manga, the creator has to be like 5, 10 steps ahead, which was very difficult.
Ah. Okay. Okay.
So
Interesting.
it's like
No,
always,
I do
like
watch
every
some
time you're writing
anime, but
something, you have to
it's
be
more the bigger animes. One Piece, Naruto, Bleach.
one that's more known. One that if you go to a convention, you will see people dressing up as character wise, even though the couple from that show are incredibly toxic. It's like an anime equivalent to Harley Quinn and the Joker.
Okay. All right. Cool. 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 Gonna have
So
to
we
look at.
have our main event coming up. So do we
I
do
do have
your
to
news
say though
now
one thing before we move on to the
or
main event.
after?
I have to say, I do have to say, the calling sucks. They are boring. I was bored. I don't know
I
why
told you it's like watching
they're
paint
even
dry.
there. And yeah, this is the thing, wrestling though. They're firing guys like New Day, but the calling are still on the roster. It makes no sense. Nothing
Because
makes
they're
sense to
focusing
me
on
in
main roster
WWE
people, not
anymore.
NXT people.
They fired the Wyatts, who was one of the great factions with all the spooky shit. By the way, I love the spooky shit. I
Because
thought Bo
TKO
Dallas, all
doesn't
of them
like the
were
spooky
great.
shit. Why do you think Killer
Okay,
Cross and
but
Scarlet are gone?
all of a sudden the calling is there. They're boring and they're spooky. I don't
Not really.
understand it. Well, they're all
They're
like
spooky and
dark,
being menacing
dressing
and
dark, and
intimidating.
all that
That's it.
stuff. I don't like calling. I don't like them. They're boring. I think they should all be fired. And yes, that's how I feel. They say, Wyatt should have stayed. Coleman should have left. Simple, simple. It's very simple. Anyway, yeah, that's how I feel about that segment. And now you can discuss the main event.
Listen, everybody knows how much I have found the calling very boring since day one, and the only time I ever found them entertaining was when they tried to bring Tatum in, and it failed because she would never change.
Yeah, that backfired. And they should have ran that story and they didn't. And that was dumb. But yes. I still think they should have went over the Wyatts.
So, anyways, for our main event, we had Tatum Paxley versus ZARIA for the NXT Women's North American Championship. And I want to say, if my usual partner was here, he would have been very happy because Tatum Paxley's gear tonight was a Sonic reference to the
I
character
saw that.
Rouge the Bat.
I saw this. Yes, yes. I see. I know Sonic. I don't live under a rock.
Nobody's saying that you do.
Okay, good, good. I'm glad. But yeah, I thought it was
Some
great.
people might
You
not
know,
know Rouge the Bat, so you gotta educate
I
the
do.
masses a
I
little bit
played the
and just show
games.
them. I've been told
I
that
played.
I would make an excellent cosplay of that. Like I could be a good Rouge the Bat,
Yeah,
so to speak.
yeah.
I probably wouldn't do the white wig because I don't think I would look good with white hair, but I'd make it work. Anyways,
Okay, okay.
we had Zarya out the gates, and she just goes in on Tatum, taking her to the floor, whipping her to the barricade, into the post, brings her inside, tries to get a cover, a near fall. It happened the first time, it happened again. Tatum recovers, gets a super kick in, get delivered a German suplex, and even goes hard into the post. And I like this match. I enjoyed watching it. It was nice to see Zarya be a lot more dominant than the way she had been presented since they brought her in. And with that F5, she became our new women's North American champion, held the title high, and licked the plates of the championship. And that was how our show ended. But I like this match. It was a good, clean fight. No interferences or
Yay!
anything like that. Congrats to our new North American champion. She will try to make her reign better than Soul's, and we will see how it goes. And we
Fun
give our
facts with
thanks to
Mad
Tatum Paxley. And we give our thanks to Tatum Paxley for being a very solid North American champion.
Almost 100 days, by the way. I think it was she was close to 100 days. So yeah, yeah, yeah. Good for her. Look, if anything, I think, my thoughts on the match were fantastic. I think both ladies sold it very well. I loved, Tatum's costume, by the way, from Sonic. I thought that was great. And yeah, here's the thing, and it's just if I'm back to Mad Dog, I have to do it even on here. I will do it on Saturday, Friday, or Saturday when I do it with Vince one more time on SmackDown. I have to say this. Zarya is champion right now. I don't know if you know that, right? Right, Zarya's champion. Stay with me, wrestling. So Ruka
Yes.
is champion right now on WWE Raw. So it is official. Zarya is a champion, and so Ruka is a champion. Crazy world we live in, I must say. Both of them move up. Well, and Zarya moves up into NXT and becomes the biggest thing. The biggest thing. Obviously, now she's champion, and so Ruka moves up to the main roster and becomes IC Women's Champion. So
Well,
that's
absolutely
huge, by
nothing
the
wrong with
way.
that. We'll
If I'm
just see
not
what
mistaken,
happens.
I believe she's the first black female IC champion as
Yes.
well. So
Yes, she is.
congrats to
I
her. Yes.
literally sent a post to the group chat showing that. Because Soul
Yeah.
is half black and is half white.
Right. And a lot of people in the internet wrestling community don't know this at all. And they're just some of the comments are just like, really? I was like, yes. I'm like, what have you guys been living under rocks? I've
Listen,
been
just
fighting a
like
lot of people
Latinos
on
coming.
social media because of that. But it's fine.
Listen,
It's fine.
just like Latinos come in every color of the rainbow. Every race and ethnicity are gonna have people that come in every different shade of color.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. But just people need to learn this. They just know, man. Just anyway. But no, the match was great. Going back to it, I'm just so happy for both women. I'm happy for Soul. She's killing it on Raw. She actually advanced to her Queen of the Ring tournament. I even said before the show, I said that's fine. I think I said it early in the show too that that's okay. I don't think Liv Morgan should be there, but in the whole thing. But I'm really happy for Zarya. Tatum had a great run, and honestly, maybe it's time to either send Tatum up to the main roster, and that's what they'll do, or maybe they'll have her go after Lola Vice, which I'm interested in seeing. But in all honesty, though, I thought the match was great. Between the two of these ladies, they definitely a great main event, and honestly, it just proves why the women's division, and you've said it many times on this show with Great Grand Slam Pooba, that the women's division in NXT is on a different level than the rest of the divisions or in the women's division in WWE. And it really is. And it showed tonight by Kelani and Kendall and Zarya and Tatum. It just shows. It just shows why they reign supreme in NXT and even in WWE, in my opinion.
Yes, indeed, and that's the
I
way the
agree,
show
Jeffrey. I
ended.
agree. This top notch.
Yes,
It
that is
is. It is.
definitely a
It
true
is.
comment. And NXT has been keeping everybody on their toes, and it ended greatly. No fights, no confrontations needed because why?
That's
But
because Zarya deserved her moment, right?
oh no, that was a
I don't
rhetorical
think
question.
oh, okay. I was gonna say
Be-
I was gonna,
because she does
jumping in
deserve
there
the
is
moment because
because
she has
of
been working hard.
Zarya deserved the moment. Let her sink in. Let her sink it all in. How crazy,
Exactly.
man! Soruka and
But that
Zarya
is
are both champions.
NXT. That is the end of what we had tonight to talk about, unfortunately. Not as much nerd rambling as some people would normally see, but hey, you got a
I
little
still
bit of
think
it
I
in
went
there
did
with
pretty
segments.
good for The fact that I mentioned Danhausen, I think 20,000 times. We should get a jar, by the way. See how many times we can fill that up. Um, and yeah,
I said to take a
you
shot,
didn't
not
call
put
me
in a
any.
dollar.
You didn't call me any nicknames tonight, so that's good.
Well,
We're off to a good start.
that's because you didn't say anything that would have given you another middle
We're
name.
off to a good start for now, but
And since you're
there's
back,
always
that's
the
still gonna
following
stay.
weeks. There's always the following
Well,
weeks where you can go back to the
well, as long
list.
as you don't
So,
say anything stupid, then you'll be fine.
like the list of Jericho, by the way. Big fan of him, by the way. Very big fan of Jericho, but nobody knew. Also a stan of Jericho, by the way.
But that is
When
NXT. That is our product for tonight. That is our show. We will have All Elite Heat tomorrow discussing everything All Elite Wrestling after that show is over. So we'll get to hear from them about how everything went. We also do have Monday Night Review shows where they talk about Raw after it goes off the air. We also have our Mike Knox show where he discusses wrestling for the intelligent wrestling fans. And myself, yes, Jeffrey, I can't wait for the world to see it either. I had seen her many a time. I've caught it on camera many a time. She is a very sweet and lovely person. I am very happy for her that she's got this opportunity. The first Dominican signed talent to WWE, mind you. The very first. But I am happy
I
for her,
have
and
to
I can't
say,
wait to see for the world to see what I've seen.
I
And if
am
y'all want to
very
see it, it's on my
excited
YouTube
too.
channel, the
I've seen a
Unofficial
lot of her
Chairwoman.
clips, so I am very excited. I've been following her closely. I've never met her personally, so I cannot say, but I am excited to see what they do with her. Yeah.
Well, who knows? Maybe next week I will make customized Nikki Blackheart shirt. But
I hope
again,
so.
that is our
Yeah.
show. Again, that is our show. We have plenty for people to see here. We talk about Raw, we talk about NXT, we talk about AEW, we do talk about SmackDown sometimes. We sometimes do top fives, we
Oh
sometimes
yeah,
do
yeah, yeah.
prediction shows.
So SmackDown will be apparently me and Vince will be doing the our final SmackDown later this week. So check that out. And then after that, I guess I made the announcement at the beginning of our show, but I will be back here Tuesday nights with you wrestling doll to cover NXT from now on. So yes. So it's a
And as
homecoming of
well,
sorts, actually. And
so to
I'm
speak.
excited to be here again, back on NXT, because honestly, NXT's been so much fun. This was a lot of fun. I will be bringing my new segment over here. By the way, I'm not just not doing it this week. I will save my segment. I do have stories, but since it's so late and I'm tired, I don't want to run the stories now. I'll just do it with Vinny on Friday or Saturday when we do the show. But and that would be my final news segment over there. And then next Tuesday, I will bring it over here. And I already told you I already have my intro for my segment for over here. So I'm excited for that as well. A lot coming up. As for our entertainment side, we have a lot of things on entertainment too. Please check out UPR Entertainment. I think the guys just did a movie review of Ex Machina or Ex Machina. I think that's how you say it. It was a
Ex
movie that came out
Machina.
a couple of years ago. Yes, and they just did a review on that. I know they're gonna have a bunch of reviews coming out, so please check out our entertainment side of things. Very very excited for all of that. And yes, like I said, we will be doing the SmackDown show this week. I promise. The final one. Me and Vince are going to go out with the bang. It's going to be exciting. And then I will be back here with you next Tuesday to discuss more NXT because it is just on fire.
And as
Fire.
well, you can catch me on my YouTube channel, The Unofficial Camerawoman, where I go throughout Central Florida and occasionally South to catch wrestling action and put it out on the air, put it out for the world to see and to see many and amazing talent. I did record the stuff that happened over at the wrestling convention I was at. It's not public yet. I did not speak with the promoter or the head of the company that was in charge of the wrestling, so I didn't want to make it public too soon and risk getting in trouble. But the footage will be out probably after they put theirs out, so it'll take some time, but I'm not in a rush. I'll have more footage that's going to come in the future that will be put on the channel for everybody to see. So you can find my channel, follow me there, as well as my Instagram. And I just made a TikTok account so people can actually follow me there. The same name as my Instagram name, Love a Barbie Doll. I mean, I was also featured on a reel today for a podcast channel that also goes around to wrestling shows and such and does little mini interviews with Latino people and sometimes not Latino people in the wrestling scene called Primos for Life. They asked me a few questions. I answered them. The reel came out today. So I shared it. So be on the lookout for that if you haven't seen it already.
How exciting! That's so cool.
And they
That's
asked
cool.
me if their usual person can't make it for a show I'm going to on Saturday, if I can do it. So I said yes. So if they're not
That's
there,
cool.
I might be seen more on that channel. Maybe they'll give me in it a full fledged interview
Oh wow, that is
with me.
so awesome. So awesome. Wow. Wow.
But we hope y'all enjoyed our product and we cannot wait to see y'all again next Tuesday to discuss more craziness of NXT before Great American Bash. We
Woo!
love to see it and we can't wait to see y'all back here. Bye bye.
Bye guys.